Welcome to The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? I can hear you.
We're nerds.
We are. I feel like I haven't seen you in 8 days.
Okay, because I went on vacation.
Oh.
Again. It's what I work for.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good.
we had a good time. We went up north, and like no phone service. And just, we got to see the bald eagle. We got to see a bunch of deer. There was loons on our lake. And we have beaver on our lake.
Oh, wow.
So we got to watch the beaver. We thought it was a baby black bear at first.
Oh.
We were like, what the hell is that over across the lake? So I went and got the binoculars, and I'm like, it's a fucking beaver.
Oh.
But yeah, so we got to watch it swim like back and forth.
Was
and
it real busy building a dam?
Oh, yeah. It's got one, and it's like building another one. There's a couple of them up there.
Oh, my gosh.
So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
And a ton of hummingbirds. So
Very,
many
very
hummingbirds.
good.
So
Good.
yeah.
So for all the Dave Matthews fans out there, I went to Alpine for the weekend and just had an absolute blast.
You had a busy weekend.
Saturday night was incredible.
Yeah.
They did a Led Zeppelin cover, Fool in the Rain, and
Yeah.
I was just like, what? I was like
that's awesome.
freaking out. They haven't done it in like almost 800 set lists or 800 concerts. They haven't done that in a long time. So that was pretty, I had never seen that before.
That's awesome.
So I had a good time with a bunch of people. So
yeah. Are you picking at your feet right now?
No.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just
since
like
this
rubbing-
reminds me of something because you're rubbing your ankle, the top of your ankle.
Yeah.
I have an ankle mustache.
An ankle mustache? What is this?
It's one spot right here that I keep forgetting to shave or like missing when I shave. And I didn't know I had it until I'm driving up north with my stepdaughter. And the light was hitting in the car a certain way. And it caught my eye because I had my cruise control on. So I had both my feet up by me. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's like some really long hairs there. So then I did not bring a razor with me to the cabin. I did not shave my armpits the whole time I was there. I was like, this is amazing. And I could have bought one from Walmart, but I'm like, I'm not going to buy another one. I don't even care. I'm out in the wilderness. I'm wearing t-shirts. Like nobody's going to know. So I was standing out on the pier at the lake and I was like, oh, the breeze feels so good on my ankle mustache.
So it immediately reminds me of the Hawaiian dancers because they always wear the pineapple grass anklets.
Oh.
And they do their dance. And so they have the green anklets around. That's what it reminds me of. So you're basically Hawaiian.
Pretty much.
All right.
Basically famous and Hawaiian.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Oh. Well, okay. So before we start, we want to acknowledge that we know what's going on in this world.
It's fucking crazy.
And we are not a podcast that will talk about news because we know that you come here to relax and laugh with us. But we just want to say that we're acknowledging what's happening.
Yeah.
Thoughts to Highland Park, Kenosha, I think it's Philadelphia. There was just so many things that happened on July 4th. And people suck. And people are angry. And it makes us all sad. And so we definitely want to acknowledge it. Before we start, we don't want anybody thinking that we're not acknowledging it, but I know that you come here to laugh with us.
Right.
So just want to say that sending thoughts out to everybody.
Last couple of years have sucked for everybody, and it's really hitting hard on people.
It's hitting hard on people. Yeah.
Stay healthy, people.
Yeah.
Mind, body, and spirit.
And if you feel like you need to go see someone, talk to someone, go do it if this is really hitting you hard.
Yeah.
So we definitely want less mental issues in this world.
Yeah.
So go seek out some help if you need it. But
on a lighter note.
Yes. So what I have, and I think a lot of people will like this, is 6 important life lessons that we've learned in retail.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're going to have plenty of stories to share.
I want to see if any of them
So
apply
let's say
to
this
me.
is more of the serious side of our episode this hour.
Because I really feel like retail was like my first real job.
Yeah.
Right?
And
I'm
you
doing
learned
air
a lot
quotes.
from it.
Yeah.
So this article is from lifegoalsmag.com. So it's 6 important life lessons I've learned from working retail. Let's see if we, let's see if we agree with the 6.
Okay.
So the first one's time management.
No.
This
Not when you're clopening.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. So I feel like I had a pretty good schedule when I worked there. But then when I think about it, I'm like, nope, kind of like my schedule now.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'd open, you'd close, you'd clopen, you'd have 3 opens in a row and a day off, like on a random Thursday, and then you were working all weekend. It was like, what day is it?
Right. Never knew what day it was when I was working retail.
And I always had, so they always would do the 5 days and 5 days, but they would connect. So I always had 10 days in a row, 1 day off, because that's what they were allowed to do, 10 more days, maybe a day off. And then, if I asked for one, then I'd maybe have like a weekend in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So I don't know about time management.
I think retail, I never wanted my days off together.
Right.
Because then you knew you had to work like 5 or more.
Yes.
Like it took me a while. I mean, I've been at my job now. It'll be 2 years in August. And I'm still almost not used to working 5 days in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one of the hardest things I've dealt with is me being off on the weekends and Johnny being off on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
I liked my random Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That he was gone. I could like blast music, clean the house. Now I have to be like, are you going to mow the lawn today? You know, like, can you get out of the house so I can like do stuff without like trying to vacuum around you?
Yes,
you know?
yes. That just happened to me yesterday. Or was it yesterday morning or Sunday morning? I'm looking around my house and everybody's home and someone's cooking. I'm looking at my floors. I'm like, man, we don't even have pets.
Right.
So it's just from all of us going in and out. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to vacuum this floor real quick. So Steve's trying to tell Julia's boyfriend something in the kitchen, and I just start vacuuming. I announced it that I was going to be vacuuming, and then they decided to have a conversation. They chose to stay and have a conversation.
I'll fucking run right into your feet.
So as I'm vacuuming, I can hear Steve say, I'm not going to talk over her. I said, I told you I was going to vacuum. So I totally understand what you mean by like a Wednesday off or something.
It was nice. We've talked about it before. It was nice to go run to the bank on that day, do your grocery shopping.
I never had Wednesdays off. Let me correct myself. It was always like a Tuesday because Wednesday was end cap changeover.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to be there to make sure the product arrived, which it never did.
Never did.
You could never find it, or someone put it out back on the trailer. So you'd have real big holes, and then you'd have these end caps that look like crap, and that was your Wednesday. It sucked, and I always had to close. So,
yeah.
But time management, I guess I really... Like now, because I know I'm Monday through Friday, I start at 9 or whenever I want to start and then make sure I work my 40-hour work week. Or like when I'm out in divisions or looking at other stores, I kind of double check, okay, what time is it? What time do I want to get there? You know, it's like that. When I worked at the place that we met at, I felt like I was constantly checking the time.
Yes.
Like from here to here, you know, like, okay, I start at 7. What time will lunch be? 10:30 because I'm going to have to get back and do this. I'm going to have to get back and do that.
I broke up the hours into 15-minute increments.
Oh, okay.
Like I only have 4 more 15 minutes till I get to go on lunch. Is that bad?
No, that's excellent.
I would be like, that's like a break. Like you can handle 4 more breaks until you get to take break, you know? Like
I do that when I'm running.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm like, what's 1 more mile? That's only like 4.25, you know, or whatever. That's 4 quarters. You can do this.
Yeah.
What's 1 more mile?
Yeah, that's what I would break it up into. But now I'm like, I got to work at 5:30 this morning.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, cool, I can leave at 1:30. No, I didn't leave until like 10 after 2.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I was like,
yeah.
Jesus, Cass, get it together.
I feel like today was a catch up though, especially for those that may have had the 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
I know many didn't who are listening.
Yeah. I had a 5-day weekend.
Well, and you did. So it was a lot of catch up in the stores that you had to go to.
Yeah.
Not mustard, just ketchup.
Just ketchup. And hot dogs. Because I'm always stuck running process load.
So number 2 is personal skills and communication. I have learned that because I am not someone that likes to start a conversation because then I just know that they need something from me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have learned to like just be pleasant with anyone walking up to me because they probably need something.
Yeah.
But I feel like other people have not learned that.
I don't know. That's weird. I feel like I was always good at communication because I was a waitress and a bartender. So you kind of have to have good communication skills for that because like you're relying on other people to make your day go smooth too.
That's true.
You know, so
I felt like if I walked
retail.
into work and I was already kind of in a bad mood because I clopened, maybe I closed at 11 and I'm back at 7.
Yeah.
People, I already walked in and 4 people told me that I looked tired.
Right.
I would just be like, all right, you know what I'm just going to do? I'm just going to go stock grocery.
Yeah.
Like, just leave me alone. I'm going to run as much as I can, get this day over with because you just could not wait till 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Because it was just ridiculous, clopening.
Yeah.
Because you get home at 11 o'clock, or maybe you do some grocery shopping. Like I would I would settle myself down by maybe doing a little grocery shop, and then I'd be home by midnight, and then I wouldn't really sleep until 1:30, and then you're getting up at 5, and your body just, and this was when I was younger, so I can't even imagine now that I'm 90.
Sometimes I do better if I only have 3-4 hours, but
yeah, and then sometimes you have that
I
crash,
just crash,
right? Yeah.
Depends on how many days I had to do it in a row.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Taking initiative.
No.
So this one is someone that likes direction.
I like direction.
So this is
Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, this is strange being like on the manager side, and also someone that can take direction because I have a manager. So when someone tells me to do something, I'm like, no problem. I'll ask a couple questions just so I fully understand, so that I never have to do it twice.
Right.
But then taking initiative when you like have a group of 5 and maybe you're having a meeting, you're like, well, does anyone want to clean the back room? Does anyone want to run dairy? Does anyone, like every time someone would walk up into a new shift and you'd be like, what do you want to work today? No one really cared what they did. So you had to think about, okay, what am I going to have them do?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That was like, and that was like when we had visitors coming.
Yes.
That owned a certain company that we repped.
Yes.
And they have like cookies and candy and stuff like that, right? So, my boss tells me put up a couple displays, and I was like, okay. And they have those, they call them rounders, and it's like a 3-stack.
Oh yeah, 3-tier basket
you can put
or something.
Product on.
Yes.
They have very strict rules about those. You're only allowed to have like 4 things in an aisle, So I'm like throwing them up wherever I can, right?
Yeah.
And, like filling them up with either candy or cookies,
Yeah.
So we're walking with this visitor, and he's like, so why did you put these cookies over here? And I was like, I don't know. It's the only place I was open. He's like, have you thought about putting cookies by like the coffee and tea section? And I was like, well, what a fucking concept.
Where did you have them? Now I'm curious.
I think it was just like in just a random, like maybe like cereal aisle or something.
That's perfect.
But I thought cereal aisle.
Yeah.
That's parents and kids.
Yes, it is.
Get the fucking cookies too.
That's a great idea.
So,
that's a great idea.
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's
a perfect example of taking initiative, because there has been many times when we've had visitors in the many years that I've done this.
Right.
And I've said, hey, can you go to that store and put up this, and this? And you get that text or that email back. Well, they really didn't let me do this, or they didn't. And then I would go and schmooze the store director and say, listen, it's only for one day. I will be here to take it down.
Right.
But, well, then at the end of the day, they would be like, no, just leave it. It's doing good.
Yeah.
Because they see the sales.
Yeah.
So taking initiative of someone that's probably didn't try. Yeah. I'm not calling anyone out. It just so happens in these past, 10 years of retail that I know how that goes.
It's hard because like you try to, my job, they think I'm just a plain vendor, and I'm not. So they think I'm always trying to sell shit into their store.
Right.
They think I'm trying to, bring in product that's going to sit in their back room. I'm not. I just want to order the shit that needs to be ordered, you know? Like, I'm not there to make you look bad. I'm there to make you look good.
I'm here to fill all the holes.
So, yeah. So it's hard sometimes to, because they're always too busy. Like, you always feel like you're a nuisance to them sometimes, like, hey, can I show you this? And they're just
how many people do you think they talk to a day?
Exactly.
You're there once a week, maybe.
Right.
How many people in a day do they talk to?
Yeah, and they're like, who are you with again? And you're like, here's my name badge. Please don't yell at me.
Oh, gosh. So are you someone that if you, like thinking back on your managing days, if something needed to be done, would you trust that person would take initiative and go and do it correctly, or would you go and do it yourself?
I go do it myself.
See, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And I've learned to trust. Like, okay, so James was on, right? A few weeks ago. And the one thing I learned from him was trust but verify.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell them this is what you're going to do, but then just kind of maybe
check
do a loop around and be like, kind of fix a little bit and or show them what you really meant.
Right. And there was a couple people I could count on. But then there was other people that I was like, no, they're not going to do it right. I might as well just do it myself.
So many times. And I still see it. I will send an exact, like bullet point or step-by-step guide on how to do it. And they will send pictures back. This just happened a couple weeks ago. I sent a 1-pager. We need it to look like this.
Right.
Step 1, step 2, like step through 10. Now, first of all, I understand that people don't have time to read, but when it's a special project, read through it so that you're understanding you're doing it right in all the stores, right?
Yeah.
So I send this off and maybe 10 people respond, which is good.
Yeah.
And then I go to look. It's not, none of them. Not one of them was right. I went to a store here and did it myself.
Did you send me one?
No.
Oh, good. Glad I'm not on your shit list.
No one was on my shit list.
Oh.
I was just, it was just like okay, like a learning moment. Like, okay, did I not describe that correctly? Like, because in your own head, you're like, oh yeah, that's perfect. This is how I'm going to describe it. Here's the steps that you do it. This is how I come to have it finish. It looks like this. And then you get the pictures back and you're like, whoa, how did I explain that? So,
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like a lot of people are visual.
Yeah.
They can read directions over and over again, but they can't.
Oh, there was definitely a picture attached. None of their pictures matched.
Well, then they don't have an excuse. Just being lazy about it. I know I did a set today for one of our people, and it was, it's labeled where the stuff goes. And it was incorrect completely. So I took a before picture and I moved everything around. And I thought, well, is this going to work because there's more of this one and not enough of this one? I fucking made it work.
Yeah.
And I moved that shit around. And actually, the person walked by and goes, oh, wow, that looks really good. And I was like, well, yeah. It's in its right fucking place.
Yeah.
It's labeled. You put it in the right place.
I remember we had to put up spice racks a few years back. And they sent a perfect picture. Yeah. All you had to do was look. It was like 3 spices, all the way across, right?
Yeah.
And it went in meat department. It was a really nice rack. Nice rack. The picture was perfect. It showed all the UPCs. And maybe 3 out of the 10 people got it correct. I'm like, did you get the picture? Did you get the plan?
I
don't know what
I have
people
been
think.
guilty of that. We just reset some salad sets, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was like they sent us, okay, well, if it's, okay, but there was confusion because it just said if it's a 3, do it this way. If it's a 4, do it that way. And what it meant was if it's a 3 foot, do it this way. If it's a 4 foot, do it. So it was kind of confusing.
Okay.
That doesn't sound very confusing, but trust me, it was confusing.
One word on a plan could mess everybody up, honestly, because everyone's reading it differently.
Yeah. So then it had the flavors of salad, right? And by my 8th one, I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Just get 2 of these up, 1 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these.
Yeah.
I didn't care what order they went in anymore.
Did you get in trouble?
No.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, nobody yells at me. I'm sure they talk about me behind my back, which is fine. I don't care.
Oh, it's because you're basically famous. So, of course, people that are jealous are going to talk about people, right?
Oh, shit.
All right. I don't remember what number this is. 4, 5.
Sure.
Treat everyone with respect.
You treat people how they treat you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we're both notorious for we come into a situation with a smile on our face, and if you take that smile away, it's not coming back.
I always call it poking the bear. Poke the bear. I am so kind. I will do anything for you within reason.
Right.
But if you start messing with me or if you insult me or anything like that, then you lost me.
I'm in a store the other day, and all of a sudden I hear yelling over by the liquor section. And I'm like, ooh, what's that? And I see like a couple of the leadership, and I hear one of the leadership like get paged over to the liquor section. Oh, boy. And so I like sneak around because I like look around and everybody's looking that direction. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to go see what's going on. So I walk over there, and it's this older gentleman. I'm going to say probably close to 60.
Okay.
And this young woman. And so I asked a leader, like, hey, what happened over there after everything?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, she walked up, shoved her phone in his face and said, where is this?
Oh.
And he got pissed. And he goes, well, it's right there. So it turns into this man is now a racist and he doesn't want to help her and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I fucking hate that.
Oh, no.
It's the worst. Like, don't be rude about it. Just be like, oh, excuse me, can you help? Like, nobody, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever rude to me. They're like, oh, ma'am, excuse. And I get called ma'am all the time. Ma'am, because I'm 40 now. Do you know where this is? And then they go, oh, do you work here? I go, well, I'm just a vendor, but I can probably help you. I know where most things are in the store. well, do you know where the homeopathic medicine is? And I was like, yep, it's right there, like, no problem. Like, you don't have to be rude about it. Where is this? We've talked about that. The ship shoppers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They always got to be fucking rude about it. She's like, well, you don't want to help me because you hate black people. And I was like, oh my God, are we going right there to that? Like,
oh no. Ugh. Terrible. So on New Year's Eve, many years ago, and the night I was so excited knowing I only had like a week left at the job.
Yeah.
A person walked up with his wife, and I think I've probably mentioned this before. He looks at me, he goes, bacon? It was on New Year's Eve.
Bacon.
And kind of like threw his hand, and I'm like, no, there isn't any. I'm looking at the same direction you are.
You
don't
told
see any.
us that story.
And immediately I was just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my holiday. I am working for you people.
Oh God.
And I'll just
so
never.
rude.
So don't do that. Don't walk up to someone and say one word. Say, hi.
Hi.
Or
how
hey,
are you?
Or hey, say, hey, when you have time, can you take our drink order? And they're going to say, hurry up. Like the bartender from last week. Hey, that's fine. Just acknowledge, but
shit.
just acknowledge us. That's all we ask, right?
Yeah.
Just be like, you don't even have to ask us how our day is. We don't, I mean, actually I had some people that like knew I had kids because they would come visit at the bakery. So like,
Right.
if they were customers that came in every week, they'd be like, how's the kids? I'm like, oh, they're good. Okay. Can you find this for me? Sure.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
You get to know your customers, especially if you've been in a store for how many years?
That guy could have easily said, hey, Happy New Year. You guys got any bacon left?
Yeah. No, he didn't. He was a wife beater though. His wife just stood there and like,
God.
He absolutely was. His mouse of a wife just stood there and kind of like gave me a look like, don't mess with him. And I'm like, I'm going to mess with him.
Oh, shit.
And
She's
that
like,
was
don't, because I'll get beat later.
Oh, my God. I mean, he was not. There was something wrong there. I mean,
God,
to be
that
on a
is so
serious note,
scary.
there is definitely something wrong there. And I see them every once in a while shopping.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. Terrible, terrible,
creepy.
terrible. But yeah, so treat everyone with respect. And that goes for both
Both
parties,
ways.
like
Both ways.
if you're approaching someone in retail or, retail, because I've actually I walked up to someone, Julie and I were clothes shopping. We were actually looking for clear purses. So we could not bring in our regular, like the fanny pack that we have from Bestie, that's the tie-dye. I could not bring that into the concert this weekend. So Julie and I went into town and it said you could bring clear, small clear, so they can look through it and then you were going to go through the metal detector.
Yeah.
So we were looking. So I walked up to this girl that was like doing something we went to like Discovery or something.
Yeah.
It's one of those like,
Yeah.
I figured that's clubbing clothes. Right. So you're going to find a clear bag, which we did. And so I walked up to her and I said, good morning. And she looked up at me like she was not happy to be there. And I said, do you have clear...
who's happy to be at work?
I know,
Nobody.
right? Yeah. And she was actually working, so she was probably unhappy to be working. And I said, do you have any clear bags? And she kind of gave me like if they'd be there, they'd be over there.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like Disney would not be happy with the way that she treated me, because with Disney, you walk the people over and you don't point, and you use your hand with all 5 fingers and say, they're right here. We have many selections. Yes. She didn't do that. She was like, they're over here somewhere.
Yeah.
And we didn't buy anything.
I know.
We couldn't find it.
We've all been in that position.
I'm going to admit that I've absolutely done that. If someone comes up to me and they just rub me the wrong way, I will absolutely have an attitude. I'm going to admit it. I do.
Sometimes I tell people, because they'll be like, where's pasta? And I go, oh, let me look what the aisles say. Pasta, aisle 5. There you go.
Oh, God.
But, you don't know. Maybe they can't fucking read, Who knows?
Okay, so during the holidays, the baking section would be aisle 12 where we worked would be unbelievably busy. They'd actually put an extra shelf up on the top because it was so busy, flour, sugar, all that. And people would walk up to me and they would say, where's the bakery section? And I'd be
bakery section.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, over there where they make the cakes? No, the do-it-yourself. I knew what they meant. What, do you want bakery or baking? Like, I would just do it just to, like, entertain myself.
Are you looking for flour and sugar or already mixed up with eggs and butter? Frosted?
And then all I would do is piss them off because they were busy trying to get their stuff, Oh, my gosh.
Well, come on. I mean, I'm the type of person... I don't make a list. I may have a general list, but I still want to walk pretty much every aisle because I'll remember like, oh, I want green olives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, I rarely ask for help. I try. I really try hard to see if I can find something before I ask. But I mean, I do.
We're the type of people, if we can't find it, we figure it's not there and we don't need it then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's probably not on sale and I shouldn't be spending the money anyway. So baking aisle, I will never forget this. I think it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas. And we have the canned fruit for making the what are those cookies that they put the
thumbprints?
Yeah, the thumbprints, right?
Or Klatchkes.
Klatchkes, right? So they always put the cherry
Fruit
and
filling,
almond and fruit filling, all right? So you have like one shelf of it.
Yeah.
And they did not order enough. My whole entire holiday season was bakers yelling at us about how we didn't have any. Well, I guess I'll go down the street. I'm like, you're probably going to have to because I'm not going to have any.
Yeah.
And it would say, and we would try to order and we would try to send off our notes like, hey, send us, 10 cases of each. We will put extra out. People are asking about it. And I will never forget that it was the worst holiday season. I don't know what it was. You know what I always think? There's got to be a recipe that comes out.
Yes.
Rachel Ray or somebody very, very popular comes out with a recipe.
Martha Stewart.
Yes. And that is what everyone's trying to shop for. Or it came out in one of the home magazines or the cooking magazine. And so everyone wants to make them because they look cute. And I feel like that was that year. It had to have been like 7 years ago.
I know my aunt always makes the same cookies every year. And she always does those thumbprints.
Yeah. For some reason. And I don't know if it's because we just so happen to be out of them so early in the season.
Yeah.
Or if they're truly, I feel like sometimes it's because there was a recipe that went. Everybody wants to do it.
You know what my aunt does is she goes to like a bakery store and buys the big plastic bag where you just like cut the end and then you can like.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of buying 4 cans of it,
What's that place that you were telling us about up in Wisconsin?
Best Bargains.
Oh my gosh, we gotta go.
I bet they have that there too.
Yes, that just reminded me of it.
Yeah.
It's a cool place, right?
Yeah,
You said I've never been there before.
It's like a restaurant store. Like a lot of people that own restaurants
will
shop
go there.
But you don't need a membership.
It's open to the public?
It's open to the public. I think it's only cash, credit, or debit. They do not take, or cash, check, or debit.
Okay.
They do not take credit cards. But they have a deli in there. You can get like prime ribs pretty cheap. They have like a shit ton of like fried foods. Like you can get wings or, cheddar broccoli, deep fried cheddar broccoli, or zucchini, deep fried zucchini. But then like they have like, what do we call those? The pans that you do big servings.
Oh, yeah.
Not bunt. That's a cake. Bunsen burners.
Yeah.
Bunsen burner pans. Mm-hmm. So you can like serve a crowd. Like you can buy all that stuff there. I bought a really nice like 12-inch nonstick skillet, $20.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Best bargain.
Best bargains. It's off 50.
Okay.
Near Burlington.
Very cool. I got to go check that out.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is learn to adapt quickly. This reminds me of all the policies and the constant changing of the policies. And you always had your few people on your team that were not happy about it and they would let you know about it.
Yeah.
That's
or
what it reminds
during
me of.
COVID. It was like policy changes like every week.
Well, yeah.
Every week.
Because it was the unknown.
Oh, you got to do this now. Oh, we're not doing that anymore. Oh, you got to sanitize every 20 minutes. Oh, now it's only every hour, And
but you always had those people that did not adapt.
No.
And they would make a big stink about it. I just don't even want to work here. And you have to hear about but you would try to be kind because you understood it. Because they just constantly need to change. And then like even before COVID, the simple stuff like we talked about coupons before or how we speak to customers or the next thing we're going to try like did you find everything today and this is what you're going to say or your script. Or you're going to try and do that incremental sale or anything like that.
Sell a credit card.
Yeah. So you have people that adapt quick like they're like no problem and whether they followed it or not.
That was probably the one thing that they really wanted us to do and I refused to do was sell credit cards.
Yes.
We had a lot of regular customers and then it was either regulars or old people. Old people were like, oh yeah, I have one already. And you try to like use it. And it was like, they hadn't used it in 5 years. And like after a year of inactivity, they just shut it off. So that was probably the only thing. But I always remember the boss telling me like, you can't move forward without change. Right.
Right.
And he always used BlackBerry as an example.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Blackberries came out, they were the thing.
There
was a whole keyboard on your phone.
Heck yeah, I had one.
Right? Everybody I knew had one. And we started changing to the touch screens, and BlackBerry was like, nope, we're going to stick with this. This is what people like. This is what they want. How many people do you know that have a BlackBerry?
Nobody anymore.
I'm sure there's a couple people out there, but they're few and far between.
Yeah. So. Or how many people still have a flip phone? I don't know.
Yeah, my husband should, but we won't get into that.
Last one in this article, lifegoalsmag.com, is build relationships by remembering details.
Yes.
So I think that's a good one.
Yes. That's even working at the gas station, like knowing what kind of smokes they would smoke or stuff like that.
So you were already grabbing it when they were coming in, right?
Like they'd be walking in and you'd be like, you getting smokes today? And they'd be like, yeah,
So I have I think it's a problem that I don't forget a face. I think I've mentioned that before. I do not forget a face. Like if we have a conversation, I may not remember your name.
Right.
I may not remember the conversation or where we had the conversation, but I recognize you.
Yes.
So
I'm very bad about that too.
So it would always be like the detail of your face, and I'd be like, oh, what did that person need?
Yeah.
And then when they would start talking and ask me, I'd be like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the detail that I would remember.
I just
like,
had
have
that.
they been recent customers or,
I just had that. I stopped at a newer restaurant in town, and I had on my way home from work, I was like, it was a really hot day, and I was like, I'm getting tacos. I'm not even going to cook tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I knew Johnny probably wouldn't want to eat a lot because he works outside, and when it's 92 degrees outside, he's like, he comes home, has a couple beers, takes a shower, and he's ready for bed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to bring home some tacos. That way, if he wants to eat them, he can. If not, they can heat up, whatever. So I'm like, well, shit, this place is called Margaritas. I'm going to get a margarita.
Yeah.
So me and the bartender are chit-chatting, and we're like looking at each other. And she's like, it's nice to see you. And I was like, do we know each other? And she was like, don't you feel like it?
Aww.
Don't you feel like we know each other? And I was like, well, I used to work here. And she's like, that's where I know you from. And I'm like, no, that's not
There's something else,
There's
right?
something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you have kids? Where did they go to school? This and that.
Yeah.
How old are they? And it's like, all right, maybe it was where I worked, like, I don't know. I was thinking about it just the other day. I was like, where do I know that girl from?
Gosh.
I feel like I hung out with her.
Yeah.
Like we must have mutual friends or something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a business transaction.
Yeah.
I feel like I met her personally. But anyways.
So there was a frequent shopper where we used to work.
Yeah.
And I know that she went to school with my cousin.
Oh.
And my cousin's 10 years older than me. So I was like the young cousin that always hung out, know. And I wouldn't say anything to her, but she'd always would ask me where the milk is or what, it's like, okay, it's in the back. I don't know why she would never remember. I would see her almost every week.
Milk is?
Where do you keep your dairy? I'm like, back there.
Who the fuck doesn't know where milk is?
No idea. So
anyways.
It was always weird. So I finally, like after the 5th time of seeing her, I was like, did you go to this high school? And did you graduate in? And I said the year, and she was like, why? And I said, I feel like I know you. Like you were friends with my cousin or whatever. And she's like, nope, I don't think so.
Oh my
I
God.
know for a fact. Like I went and looked her name up and I'm like, she's lying. Why is she lying? This is so weird.
What a dumb hoe.
But she also didn't know like where the milk was every single week or where the yogurt was or so I don't know. Maybe it was just something
class,
weird.
huh?
Yeah. It was just, I don't know. I mean, my cousin turned out all right, but
maybe she ate too many paint chips.
And then I didn't see her after
kid.
that. So maybe she just didn't want to be known. Maybe she was in like, what is that called? Not the
Witness
Secret Service.
protection.
Yeah. Witness Protection Program. Secret Service. Whatever.
Maybe she was working for
witness,
the CIA.
Secrets.
She's like, shit, I've been had. I got to get out of this town. I mean, she didn't go very far if she didn't want to know, like, if she didn't want people to know her.
It reminds me of 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler when he gets on the jet ski and he pretends.
I love that movie.
In the beginning, that's so funny. He was acting like he's working for them.
Oh,
God. Funny. All right. So that's our serious side.
Serious
side.
I don't know how serious that was. I laughed.
I know. That's true.
That's a couple times.
So this one is from thoughtcatalog.com and it's 17, but we probably won't go through all of them.
I bet we
will. Hilarious things only people who have worked retail would understand.
Let's see how funny they are.
All right. Let's just see. So you can't help but think of your finances in relation to hours spent at work. So we kind of talked about this before we started recording.
Yes.
I know when I worked hourly and I would go and get lunch, and let's say it was like back then it would be like $7. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a half an hour, or it's 40 minutes, or did you ever do that?
Yes. Yes, but I have always been blessed to kind of be the disposable income in the house.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've had my own place, but I've always had roommates. And like, even when later in life, my parents and my sister and I all rented a house together and we like all split it. So like, I've been very blessed to make enough money.
Yeah.
So I would never be like, oh my God, Cass, you can't buy lunch today because you have to save that $8. You know, I would be like, fuck it. You only live once. You'll make more money tomorrow.
So when I got my first job, when we met, I was not working for a year.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. Both Steve and I did not work for a year because he owns a company and nobody was doing anything with their houses or anything. And so we sat and looked at each other for a year. And I know I've told this story a few times, but I just absolutely love it because it's how I got into retail. I walked in, we were shopping, and I looked at Carrie.
Yep.
And I said, she was at your surprise party.
Yep.
And I said, no one ever, or I said, I feel like it's always the same people here. Are you hiring? And she said, we're having a fair tomorrow. Yeah. And that was it. And I didn't care how much I was going to get paid.
You walk in there now.
I had not worked for a year.
There's no faces.
No, it's faces. I mean, some, but not really. Or they're in different departments where I don't see them.
Or
you know, maybe working in the back or different stores. Yeah. But I'll never forget that. And I had no idea how much I was getting paid. All I know is I got the job and I was starting that following Tuesday. And then I showed up on Tuesday, forgot to read the email that was sent to me and forgot to bring my social security card. So I had to start the week after, which was all right. I was just happy to have a job. So,
you know what? Because you know the secretary that was taking care of you was like, this little bitch can't even follow regular directions. Nope. She's not going to last a week.
Nope. And I did. I lasted 7 or 8 years or something like that. So, but yeah, I remember that first year I would be like, I better bring something from home, or I wouldn't work, or I wouldn't work. I wouldn't bring lunch.
Just wouldn't work. I can't afford lunch today. I'm just not going to work.
Reverse that. I had to work, and I would just bring snacks from home or whatever, you know.
Now I take my lunch all the time to work with me.
And it's not because you're trying to watch it, just because you do, right? Yeah. You can have it in your car. You don't have to spend the money. But really, once you think about it, if you go to the hot bar, salad bar, or if you're just buying something every day you're not buying something that's on sale.
Right.
You know, when you shop and you're being frugal when you're grocery shopping once a week, you're looking for the sales, and you just know how to.
And we just came home from camping
your money go
for a
longer.
week, so I have a whole box of like mixed chips and goldfish. We brought home more pasta salad than I even know what to do with. So I'll be eating that all week, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, this week was easy for lunches.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So sometimes, this is number 2 now of hilarious things in retail. Sometimes when you tell a customer to have a nice day, you truly mean it. Other times you don't.
I said I'm going to say it. Have the day you deserve. I wish so many times I could have said that to people.
Oh, gosh. Have the day you deserve.
Yeah, because there was customers where I was like, yeah, awesome. You're the best. Have a great day. And then other people would be like, have a good day.
Yeah.
I hate it when people said, don't tell me what to do. I'd be like, then have a shit day.
People would say that to you?
Yeah.
You would say, have a great day, and they would say, don't tell me what to do? I have never heard that before.
Yeah. Sometimes they were joking. Sometimes I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking jerks.
Interesting. Gosh.
Yeah.
So certain types of people love brushing you off and feeling superior when they enter the store until they need something.
Right.
How many times?
I'm like, right. Yes.
Yeah. Done. Do we even need to go on? Everyone in retail is shaking their heads. How many people brush past you, almost run you over with a cart? I can't even tell you how many times my heels got clipped.
Yeah.
And they were just being rude because I was in their way stocking. How dare I be stocking during the day?
I'm walking, and the beer vendor had a whole pallet of beer on the floor. So it was kind of in an inconvenient location. And this lady's walking towards me, and she looks right at the beer and at me and just doesn't move over. Like, there was plenty of room for both of us to fit there.
Yeah.
And so I like swiftly like my shoulder like get through, you know, like just to let her know you're an inconvenience, you know?
Oh, I can't tell you how many times. Well, okay, so now I think a lot of people, like, they usually have, like, their fanny packs on or they keep their wallets close. But when we worked in where we met, people would put their purses in the front of their cart and not really worry about it too much. Now I think people are a little more protective.
I think it's funny because some of the, I don't want to say bad neighborhoods, but some of the normal neighborhoods, people will leave their purse in the cart.
Yeah.
And then I go to these really ritzy neighborhoods and people are like, holding onto their purse in the cart while they're holding the cooler door open with their foot and like trying to reach something.
Right. Where they're not going to need to steal your purse because they have their own money, right?
Yeah.
I can't say how many times that I would say it out loud. I need to move your cart to get through because I would have like a U-boat or something filled with stuff. And they'd be like, no, my purse is in there. I'm like, then move it to the side.
Nobody cares your purse is in there.
Nobody cares.
You're probably just in a lot of credit card debt anyways with no cash.
Yes. Oh, I can't tell you how many times people would come to the service desk and want to open a credit card because they would save a certain percentage during the holidays.
Yeah.
And they would get declined. But they would have like pearls and diamonds and, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, you are outstretched.
Yeah. I heard people say it was hard to get a credit card there.
Oh, maybe.
It was not.
Okay.
It was not. They're like, I've tried 3 times. I'm like, you must really have shitty credit then. Because I got one, no problem. They were like $500 limit, you know, at first.
Yeah, that's how they start you off. Make sure you're going to pay your bill.
And then after a year, they were like, oh, we're upping your shit to $2,500. And I was like, fuck.
And now it's at like 50 grand. You don't know what to do with yourself. Where's our next vacation?
Yeah.
So this next one, number 4, says when someone asks you for your opinion on an unflattering outfit, you've learned to kind of like, you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't. So you're kind of like, do
you know?
Do you lie or tell the truth?
Okay. The customer is always right.
Yeah.
In their sense of style.
Yes.
That's the whole quote.
Yes.
The customer is always right in their sense of style. Meaning, even if it's not for you, it may be for them. Hype them up, make the sale, get them to buy it.
Yes. Now with food, because I always worked in food, I really didn't work in fashion too much unless they absolutely needed someone to like help clean up the
fold clothes.
Yeah, fold clothes, which I'm terrible at folding clothes. So I did it once. They were like, "You're done. Go back to grocery. Go throw some sugar."
There's a reason you're not.
Yeah, there's
here.
a reason why I'm always in candy. I remember that they would ask me like, is this good? Does this taste good? Like if I'm working in liquor, is this good? Is this popular? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I would always just act like I'm like, I don't know. I don't drink or I don't know.
Yeah, you just tell them you don't drink.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just here stocking it.
They're asking you about like a $50 bottle of whiskey and you're like, I drink White Claws.
Or wine. Yeah, or wine, you know? They would be like, how does this taste? I'm like, well, let's look at the description in the back. It's fruity, blah, 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 with aromatic, blah, blah, blah.
I would always be like, why do you want that when you can get Arbor Mist for $6.99? It's delicious.
Isn't there like a Behringer box or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Why are you spending that much? It's probably terrible because it costs $50 a bottle. Yeah. Very dry.
So the next one is many people do not read coupons, but they expect you to honor them.
Oh, we know that. That goes back to the buy 2, get 1 free.
Yes.
They think they only have to buy 2, and it's like, no, buy 2, get the 3rd free.
Yes.
They never read that. They never read that right.
Or I know that there's some companies out there that honor expired coupons. Ugh. So they think that they could do that
anywhere
in grocery or where we worked.
Yeah.
So like someone would bring a coupon that expired in February and it's already the middle of, you know what? There was someone, oh man, did she play us all the time. I remember this woman. She played us all the time. She would bring in a rain check and try to tell us that we had not had the item since the rain check was written out for her.
Right.
But I would know. I mean, it was something simple like Coke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Diet Coke.
We always have that.
And she would
there.
be like, absolutely not. You haven't had it. I want to buy this whole basket with this price.
Yeah.
No. I think it's because she owned a gas station or she owned another convenience store. And so she would want to use her rain check.
Right.
And then she would say, well, I only bought 10 and this is for 12. So I want to keep this rain check.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
So then I would like write all over it. Like the one time the store director was like, just give it to her so that she gets out of here because she was making a scene.
I'll just be like, no, you got to buy 12 right now.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. I was like, are you going to buy 12? And she's like, no. So I crossed out the 12 and put a 10, put a 2 to make sure that she would only come back. And she always had rain checks. I think she grabbed them from the garbage.
Probably.
I think she grabbed them from everywhere. Oh, it was so frustrating. And they would be so
like
expired. I'm like, this is from last year. Well, you haven't had this one. I'm like, Diet Coke. We've had it.
Yeah.
They're
only here 3 times a week stocking it.
I run into them all the time. They're always back there. I dropped a pallet of Diet Coke the other day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we didn't have it, but no. So the next one is people expect you to find a specific item with only like a 1-word description. Like, well, I saw it online and it's striped. Or I saw it online and it was red. Or I saw it online and it was fruity flavored. And you're like, yeah, I need some more help here.
Is it cereal or juice?
Yeah. What are we talking here? Fruit cups or those little squeezies the moms like to buy the toddlers.
The applesauce stuff.
We have them here. I love them. But like, there's one that's like apple strawberry. I'm like, oh, it's here. You're looking at the 4-foot section. This is all it is.
Yeah.
Well, can you help me try and find it? I got to go. I mean, you see, I have a toddler.
I hate people. Just validates how much I hate people. I'm not your personal shopper.
I know. Oh,
Mrs.
gosh.
I'm not your personal shopper.
Number 7, weekends do not exist in our world.
Absolutely not.
They absolutely do not. I actually sent a message to Shannon. I said, are you going to Dave? Her and her husband love Dave Matthews.
Dave fans,
and she wrote back, no, unfortunately, I'm working this weekend. Or she chose to. She chose to work this weekend, which she had beautiful displays.
Yeah.
She works in produce, so she was sharing how great her team was, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Those looked great, Shannon. But yeah, so super sad. You know that in retail, that it's very possible you're not going to.
The coolest display of LaCroix the other day.
Oh.
It was like, because they have like every color of LaCroix.
Yeah.
And they made a flag with it.
Okay, that's cool.
It was amazing. And I think it had to be like 12 feet tall.
Wow.
It was so cool.
Wow. I'm always afraid that they're going to fall.
It was up against a wall.
Yeah, okay.
So I wasn't that worried about it. But I was like, I need to take a picture of this. This is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. LaCroix has so many different flavors now.
I know.
We have, excuse me, I burped. We have one that's beach plum, I think. Steve found it somewhere. It's really good. And it looks beachy. It's like
Does
the light
taste
blues
sandy?
and the it tastes, it's probably their coconut flavor with a new name.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's really good. It's really good.
I don't believe you because LaCroix is awful.
I'm going to show you when we're done.
Okay.
Although I did hear that they used to filter their water through beaver buttholes.
That is not.
On one of my like vegan, places.
No, that's where raspberry flavor comes from.
Really?
Is beaver butthole secretions.
Get the heck out of here.
Google it.
No, absolutely not. So we banned LaCroix for a long time, and then we couldn't get the other one that we liked, which I can't even remember what it's called. So now we're back. Bubbly. Yeah. LaCroix has so many different beaver flavors. So we went back.
I could have got you some raspberry flavoring from the cabinet.
Oh my God, you could have. You'd be like, excuse me, sir, can you stop building your dam to bring my friend home some raspberry
butthole.
Ew. Oh man, it's horrible. I gotta have Julia listen to this. She'll die.
They say Red Bull has bull semen in it.
What is it?
Bull semen.
Raspberry does?
No, Red Bull.
Oh.
Red Bull supposedly has bull semen.
Really?
In it. It's the taurine, I think they say, is bull semen.
Wow.
I don't believe that.
Absolutely not.
No.
We're gonna Google this
jerking
when we're
off
done,
bowls and putting it in a big vat of
Ew,
Red
people
Bull.
are eating lunch right now.
Drinking coffee.
Well, and that's how they get strawberries is from bugs, right? It's bugs. Yeah. Like strawberry yogurt. I will never buy strawberry yogurt because I read somewhere that it's because they get
strawberry yogurt.
They get the strawberry flavoring of the food color or the coloring from bugs.
Ew, they probably do.
We got a lot to Google. We have a lot to maybe
I
we'll
am
just
not
have
Googling
maybe
it.
we'll just have like next week we'll have all the gross stuff that we find. Ew.
We better make some notes.
I'm not gonna eat anymore. That's it.
Is it gonna storm? Our electricity went out last night.
Oh, I hope we don't lose. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Ours did too. Hopefully, don't lose it. We'll talk fast here.
Let's be like,
all right. On a rare occasion that you do have a weekend off, you text everybody that you know and say, I have Saturday off. What are we doing? And you try to shove everything into one day.
And then it comes and you're like, nope, I'm not doing any of it.
Yep. So you were talking about you liked having one day off and then one day off. So I liked always having two together for the only reason is the first day I would get everything done.
Yeah.
And then the second day I would relax or do something for me. Like I'd go for a long run or I would watch a movie that everyone's been talking about. I would never watch shows, you know. And so obviously I didn't have a lot of 2 days in a row because I'd never watch movies or anything. But that's why I liked it. It was almost like, okay, let me get all this done. Let me run to the bank. Let me, do all the chores, dry cleaning, whatever I needed to do. And then the second day was a relaxing day.
Yeah.
But you rarely ever got that. Yeah.
Yeah, the only good thing about retail was their work week started on Sunday. So you could take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off and not use any paid days.
Yeah.
That was the best thing about retail.
Yeah.
Or take like Thursday and Tuesday and only use 2 paid days, and have that whole long weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't do that no more. It's like I get Friday or Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
If I want anything else off, I got to take it paid.
Yeah.
So your paid days go quick.
Yes, they do.
Like, holy shit. I think I only have like 5 or 6 paid days left for the year. Holy shit. I got to go see Bestie J for his birthday.
Yeah. When is his birthday? What month?
His birthday is August 29th.
Oh, okay.
29th or 30th. I don't remember. He'll yell at me because I don't remember. But it's at the end of August.
Eventually it'll pop up on Facebook and then we'll all remember. Yeah. And then you'll be down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 9 says, having to close the store and then having to go right back in the next morning to open it is the work of Satan. That's what it says on here. Which is why we are called the Clopen effect. Because it's a close open.
We are Satan. That's why.
Okay, so number 10, many of the mornings that you have started, or you wake up at 7 a.m., you go to look at your phone, and the boss is saying, can you open with me today? Hello, God. Are you there? Are you up? We need someone. Someone called off.
And you're like, I'm not supposed to be there for 4 more hours, you jerk.
Yep. And it also reminds me of how you would show up in the morning, but you're closing because you're just so confused.
How many times?
Or they switched it on a Sunday. So they were supposed to always be 2 weeks out of your schedule. And someone always would switch it the Saturday before that Sunday start week.
You know what was terrible is that I would... when I worked at the gas station, I made my own schedule, right?
Yes.
And I would get a bug up my ass where I would be like, I don't want to go into work at 6 a.m. I want to work 8 to 4:30. So 2 weeks out, I would schedule myself 1 or 2 days, 8 to 4:30. I'd always forget and show up at 6 a.m.
I guess we're doing an early morning shift today.
I'd be like, shit. Luckily, I lived 3 minutes away. So
yeah, right.
I would just go home and have another cup of coffee and hang out.
Oh, gosh. I don't think I would. Although you would have to be in that mid.
Yeah, I would have to be there because you only have
shifts.
so many people there.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this one I really liked. It says, number 11 is you become really good at using fake laughs, fake smiles, fake polite voices when you encounter extremely rude customers.
So it was funny because it's not even rude people. It's just how you make it through your day.
Yeah, right.
And today I'm in an HBC aisle, which is very close to the checkout. And I hear these 2 ladies and they're like, oh my God, hi, how are you? And I was like, oh my God, they fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
And it's we know that using that high-pitched voice is so fake, yet we still do it to each other and think that the other person doesn't know.
Yep. I saw someone today because I was in stores today and I turned around and all of a sudden she was there and I'm remembering her name now. Hi, Maria. And I couldn't remember it when I was standing there, but I could feel myself go, oh my gosh, it's been so long. All of a sudden it was just on its way up, and her eyes got real big. She's like, I know. But we liked each other. Yeah. I think. Yeah. So that's so funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, so Drew, if you're listening, Maria says hello.
Oh, that's nice.
She says hola.
Hola,
so,
Drew.
Yes. Oh, gosh. So it says people are way more stressed out and frantic during the holiday seasons.
Well, duh.
And I feel like we have 8 major holidays a year. So I feel like everyone's frantic all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And people with high paying jobs, they just take the whole week of the holiday off. Yeah. I feel like.
It says sometimes you just want to pat people on the back, give them an inhaler, and tell them to just chill the fuck out for a second. That's what it says on this article.
For sure.
Oh, so funny.
It's not the end of the world because we ran out of fucking macaroni salad.
Yeah, it says if you can't find a red sweater to give to your mother-in-law as a present, the world is not going to end.
Yeah, what the hell? I hate people that we all know. I start my shopping in like October for Christmas.
Yeah.
I start that shit early. I have a little stash of stuff. Sometimes I forget and people get multiple presents because I forget I already bought them something.
Yes. I will never forget. We loved shopping before I even worked at our place of work. And we bought Steven this really cool and ginormous fire truck. It was the only one.
Yeah.
It like came on its own pallet.
Yeah.
It was like the Supreme, you know, like you could ride on it. I don't know what it did. It did a whole bunch of stuff, you know, lights, action, you know, all that fun stuff. And I put it upstairs in a closet because it was so early. It was like, I don't even know if it was Black Friday, maybe even before that, you know, they had like specials or something. So I put up in the closet. So we're shopping still throughout the season and Christmas comes and goes. And I'm like, man, I just had that feeling that I bought him something big and important. Summer, the following year, we finally are going to like redo his room and stuff. And I go and open the closet and it's sitting there. And I'm like, well, and I was like, do I just wait till next year? I'm like, nope. I just gave it to him. Yeah, I was like, we totally forgot about this. And he was like, cool.
Oh, that's funny.
It was like Christmas in July for him.
Yeah.
So you're initially, this is number 14. You're initially shocked when someone comes in and says, have you gotten anything new since the last time I was in? And you realize they were there yesterday. So we've had customers come in on the daily.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so actually, there was one gentleman, he would come in every day looking for cheese puffs because he would sell them at his store up in Lake Geneva. And he would buy it all out, knowing that vendors would come in every day. So I started telling the vendors, bring some extra cases, bring some extra cases.
Yeah.
So it was like the wholest popcorn.
Yeah.
And he would come in and he'd buy the whole shelf, but then he would be like, yeah, I need them back. But usually they would take it back on their truck for the next store.
Right.
So I kept telling them, leave me a couple cases, leave me a couple cases. And he would, luckily he was nice. He would come in every single day on his way up to Lake Geneva and buy a couple cases.
That's crazy.
But it was every day. And he would ask me the same question. Do you have any Hollis popcorn? And the first couple times that he did it, I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know, even though I never forget a face, you know, he'd have glasses on, a hat on, his uniform on or whatever. And I'd be like, oh yeah. So he was buying it and then selling it at his popcorn place for people that couldn't have, they could have, you know, they wanted Hollis.
The kernels.
Yeah, they couldn't have the kernels. And then I finally told the vendors, I'm like, hey, just throw like 8 cases back there. He stopped coming in. So I don't even know what happened. He probably found it cheaper somewhere else.
Yeah.
How about this one? We're getting close to the end here, folks.
Okay.
If your store closes at 9, people usually arrive around 8:56, right?
Are you still open? For 3 more minutes.
Oh, gosh.
That's probably the only time I'm glad to be a personal shopper. What do you need? I'll go get half. Just rip the list in half.
Yeah.
Let's do this together. Get the fuck out.
Yes.
Because our store was 24/7, 364.
Yes, right.
Because we were only closed Christmas night. And what a nightmare to get people out of there
on Christmas Eve
at 7:00 at night.
Yep.
Jerks.
Aren't you guys 24 hours? No.
Not
it's
today.
Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Bitches.
So this other one, they kind of relate. So 15 and 16 kind of relate. They say, you know, oftentimes you'll do the intercom, you know, like even at the store that we work at, they'll say that the GM, general merchandise side, is closing.
Right.
You're going to have to use the grocery side because it's a pretty big store. Yeah. People still act surprised when they take their cart down to the general merchandise side and it's locked up and they say, well, I parked down here.
Yeah.
You should know this by now. They've been doing the same thing
and
every
I would
day
never
for
tell
20
them.
years.
I'd be standing up at the service desk and watch them walk right past.
I
we
did
had
too.
a sign even right there.
Yes,
that
that's right.
said, this entrance is closed. And I would just let them fucking walk down there. And they'd walk past me again, like give me a dirty look. Well, you should fucking read. Learn to fucking read. I don't know what to tell you.
And so they say that they do that. They do the announcements. They shut the music off. They just make everything quiet. They start shutting down lights. But people still don't get it.
Yeah.
So
no, They're assholes. They're entitled.
You know, I tell my kids this all the time, and this is more for safety now because of this world, but I would say always know your surroundings.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to tell that to shoppers as well. Know your surroundings.
They don't care, though.
But not in like a safety, but like, are the lights coming down? Is there no more music? Do you see people packing up? Do you see that the deli's closed, the meat's closed? That means you're getting close to the end.
They don't care.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to teach someone.
What do you mean the butcher's closed? It's only 8:59. It says they're open till 9. Well, yeah, they have to fucking close down the whole
clean.
thing.
Yeah, when do you expect them to clean? So,
pieces of shit.
You know, I want to go back real quick to the conversation about like time and, you know, learning about time, because this is an Abby story. So she worked in bakery with me years ago before she owned her own poppy cakes.
That's a tornado siren?
Let's see. One moment, folks.
Until the tornado passes.
We actually just took a break because the sirens were going off. So
I told you I heard it.
We had Julia come down in the basement. Steve's watching the news for us. So
I thought it was ringing in my ears, but I was
I couldn't hear it over on this side. So you
Yeah.
have good ears. That means that your headphones aren't loud enough. No, that's good that they weren't.
Maybe that's my microphone is just very sensitive.
Yeah, it is very sensitive. So back to my Abby story.
Yes.
So I worked with her in the bakery and time management. This is a story I wanted to tell. So when you closed in the bakery, there was always so much to do.
Oh, yeah.
You had to like finish labeling, and plus she helped out cake decorating, and you had to clean everything and clean the pans and do all the dishes and mop the floors. And so she would actually time herself on her phone.
Yeah.
She would put, are we losing power? What an interesting episode. We're losing power. Everything's flashing. So she would put a time, like, you know, let's just say 20 minutes for dishes, 20 minutes for the floor, 20 minutes for cleanup, 20 minutes for, you know, doing the markdowns or the scan outs. And her alarm would go off on her phone.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. Sometimes there's a few of us that need that sometimes.
I tell people who don't like to do chores, set a 10-minute timer.
Yes.
Start doing it. You'll find that generally when that 10 minutes is up, you're like, no, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue and finish. Or if you really don't feel like doing it, then just stop after 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah. So number 17 on this, and I don't get it. Maybe you'll get it. So this is from thoughtcatalog.com, said, velvet pants are still trying to make a comeback.
Do you remember like the velvet jumpsuits we used to wear?
All
Not
I remember is, what is this, velvet? That was from Coming to America. That's all I remember.
See, and I'm thinking of Mean Girls, where she's like, I'm the cool
mom.
mom.
And she's got a velvet
wearing,
some kind of velours.
Running. Yeah.
Oh,
you know
is that
what
it is?
I think so.
Oh, someone will have to
know.
help us with that because I have no idea.
I don't know who's trying to wear velvet pants, but I'll take corduroys over velvet any day. Zut, 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 zut. That's just sound like when you walk in.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for listening, everyone. It's getting even darker here, so we're gonna go be safe.
See if I can make it home before the tornado.
And you're actually going
me
into the storm, so this is interesting. Hey, thanks so much for listening and sharing our stuff.
Hey, wait, before we leave,
I
just want to say, are we having a weird storm because they turned on CERN?
CERN in Sweden.
Watch out for the Mandela effects that we should be seeing soon. So
yes.
And I'll leave it at that. You make your own opinion of that. You do your own research on that. That's all I'm going to say of it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Talk
you guys.
to you next week.
Bye.
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 Oh my God.
Bye. Blow out their eardrums.
This podcast is brought to you by NameTag Productions, LLC. Entire podcast, unless otherwise stated, written by the hosts. Drums, written and performed by my son, Steven. The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. If we have to be all in this together, we might as well make it fun.